Hey, good afternoon, everybody. Tom Stewart here. I'm with Aja Holiday. Our guest today is Angela Moreno, Angie, and this is MaidCentral Partner Profiles.
That it is.
Still had to think about that. Angie, how are you?
I'm doing wonderful.
It's
How
good to
is
see you.
everybody?
Doing great. It's been a good stormy Tuesday up here in the north. Got some good thunderstorms rolling in the last 24 hours.
We've got some, so please share. We've got it coming our way, so please share more.
Where's home for you, Angie?
North of San Antonio, Texas. We're in Spring Branch.
Okay.
It's often confused with Spring, Texas, which is near Houston. So,
Okay.
but yeah, we're in Spring Branch, north of San Antonio.
Okay. Kind of between San Antonio and Dallas, I guess.
Kind of. Yeah, kind of north of San Antonio, west of Austin, no, southwest of Austin. There
Okay.
we go, southwest of Austin. Hi, Dawn.
Hey, Todd.
So welcome to MaidCentral Partner Profiles. Appreciate you joining us today. We're going to sit around for the next hour talking about your business, we talk about whatever we want to talk about, right? But we'll get into some core KPIs and how you're using MaidCentral to do some awesome things in your house cleaning business.
Thank you for the invite. I'm so excited.
Yeah, we're really glad that you could make it this week. And thank you, Dawn, for coming for our last one. So it's cool that she's hanging out watching us too. So we're really excited to get to chit chat with you and get to learn a little bit more about you and your business.
Yes.
How'd you wind up in the house cleaning business, Angie?
Well, I've always been an entrepreneur at heart and have always done the multi-level marketing kind of thing, and that wasn't my style.
You
And
mean like Amway type thing?
right.
Okay.
Yep. Did the Primerica thing too. So I got my Series 6 and 63 licenses, and
Okay.
and that wasn't for me. And so anyway, long story short, after corporate America shut down our location in San Antonio and toted us around Texas, we came back to San Antonio and just couldn't find my niche. And so we moved out to the hill country of Texas, where we are now. And my husband said, with all your knowledge, you could open up a business out here. And cleaning business being what it is, it's low investment and it's needed. And so he suggested that, and for a couple of years, I said, "Nah, I don't want to do cleaning. Don't want to clean houses. Don't want to clean
Don't
toilets.
make me.
Don't make me." I finally gave in and handed in my 2 weeks resignation. My boss let me go 2 days early. I was down at the courthouse the next day registering my business, and here I am.
When
That
was that?
Wow.
that was January of 2017.
Okay.
Okay.
So I
Yeah.
guess from
So
your perspective, that you know doesn't seem like a long time ago, but from your perspective, maybe it does.
Oh my goodness. It seems like forever ago.
Okay.
how were
Yeah.
those first couple of months there getting into
Oh,
that?
yeah. So I started, and 30 days later to the day, I hired my first employee.
That's
Um,
awesome.
yeah. So business really was great. Next door was what catapulted my business.
Was
Back
next
then
door a thing in 2017?
was what?
Yeah.
Was
It
next door a thing in 2017? Okay.
Yeah.
just starting. Yeah.
Just starting, and you could advertise as much as you wanted. And so I did. And so a month later, hired the first employee, and a month after that, bought our first vehicle, and then just on and on and on and on, and hired the wrong people, ran the business the wrong way for a few years. So yeah, it's funny to look back. I laugh all the time at myself because my first house that I personally cleaned, I brought all my supplies that I had in my house, right? I brought all the cleaners, all the equipment, and I must have taken 3 trips.
Back and forth.
Yeah, I did it wrong.
Okay.
Yeah,
It was a learning experience.
it was a learning experience. Yes, it was.
That's so funny, getting to look back on it and just seeing how far you've come, how much you've learned.
Oh yeah,
That's great.
yeah.
So how many products do you use now? 5? 3?
Yeah, yep. At the most 5.
Yeah,
Yep,
that's great.
yep.
So you started in 2017, all at the same location, right? Haven't moved it around at all?
Right. Haven't moved.
Cool. And then you've been with MaidCentral now just for this year, really, right?
Right.
It went live early this year.
Yeah.
What are some of the challenges that you've had maybe before MaidCentral, or just challenges in general that you've kind of are working towards solving in the next year?
Yeah. So I started out, with a paper planner that had the calendar, and so I filled in my calendar and I had Mrs. Smith on this day, and I repeated every other week. And so that was handwritten, and then we started growing. So we implemented a software that was for the service industry, and it was affordable. And so hung out there for about 7 years and discovered MaidCentral recently and said, MaidCentral is for the cleaning business, the residential cleaning business. I need to hop on.
And we met at convention.
Yes.
We got to meet and talk about it all in person, and you got to meet Victoria and Alvin and chit chat and like get the whole rundown there. I loved that. I thought that was so great.
Yeah. Yes. So then, why am I going blank? Who was it? I had the
Troy.
Troy. Thank you. I was wanting to say Tony. Sorry, Troy.
So close. It's the right letters or the right number of letters, right? And you're really only 1 letter off.
Yeah. So Troy and I shut down that day. We were in the cubicle, and Tom said, y'all might want to exit stage left because they're about to close the convention. And so I couldn't wait. I was chomping at the bit. I couldn't wait to see everything that MaidCentral could do. And here we are.
Yeah. Had you been to the ISSA convention before?
No, I've been a member of ISSA for a few years and never gotten to go, but I'm not sure what made me go, or maybe it was MaidCentral. I don't remember.
I was going to ask, like, did you come to convention hoping to find a new software? Like, was that one of your kind of like checklist items? You go to convention to be like, all right, I want to find new microfibers. I want to look at a new software, and I need to find, I don't know, whatever was looking for a new software kind of on your list. That's really cool. I'm really glad we met then.
Yeah, exactly. Yes. And, the residential part of ISSA is growing more and more. And I figured, hey, now's the time. Let's go. And so I did. So I'm so glad I did.
Yeah. No, that's great.
And it's going to be in the same place, pretty much the same time this year. You think you'll be going out there, Angie?
I'm not sure I'll be going this year because I've got other travel plans.
Yeah.
But
I think it's close to Thanksgiving this year, like uncomfortably close to Thanksgiving this year.
Okay.
If I'm remembering right.
Yeah.
That might be, it might be a little bit of a struggle for some people, but yeah. So you came kind of looking for a software. What were some of the, I mean, you had the same software for 7 years, and what were some of the things that you were trying to really accomplish in that software and finding a new software?
So that software that I lived in for 7 years is more for the service industry, like HVAC, plumbing. What's the other
Like
electrical?
one-off.
Yeah, yeah. And then I'll forever be a fan of theirs because they help me grow. But they're just not cleaning, the cleaning niche. And so they have since created a cleaning segment, but it's still not what I'm looking for, what I crave and what I need. So
like really getting those numbers, getting, the data out of it, understanding. And I think I remember a lot of what we talked about at convention, and kind of some of those big adjustments from coming from other softwares that are, just home-based services, that are more those one-off type services, or not as repetitive or recurring frequency type things.
right.
Or even like, we see a lot of relationship between like lawn care services and house cleaning, but a lot of people don't care who's outside mowing their lawn as much as they do who's inside cleaning their house. So there's just a little bit of extra levels of things that need to be considered. And so like we take that into consideration. I know we talked about that a lot, but then just like our general like KPIs and numbers, I think, what have you kind of gotten out of some of those numbers? I know you came to the live event in April. What are some of the changes that you've seen in your business by being able to see some of those numbers?
Oh, just I am trying to keep up with it all still.
That's okay.
I gave myself, these first few months to get the data into MaidCentral so that I could see where my shortcomings are, and what we need to improve. So,
And this is what you picked up at the live event. We did that in at Lilianne Lima's office in April, wasn't it?
Yes.
Yep.
Just when the cherry blossoms were bloomed and beautiful, and I've never seen them before. So I was excited about that. But I was excited to see you guys too.
We have another one of those events in September in Charleston.
I know.
We're going to do it again. I know a lot of people come multiple times to these, but it's MaidCentral.academy. We didn't talk about that at the beginning, but we were supposed to. But we got so excited to see you here, Angie. We forgot what we were supposed to do.
Well, guess what? So the next one in
Charleston
is on my birthday.
Oh
wow! Would you come and we'll bring you? We'll have cake.
Okay,
we'll have cake if you make it.
Okay.
If you do come again, there is also a core profit builders event happening the same week, also at the same location. So you can make a whole week out of it with different events out of it. So whether you come or other people come, but you can make a full week out of that. But that is a great birthday week. One of my best friends. What is it? The 27th or the 28th?
I'm looking it up. She's got, well, here's our event. No, this is in August. We'll get back to that. 25, 26, 27. Where's Liz's event? Maybe it's up here. 23rd, 24th.
Yeah.
She's got a lot of events.
And it is leading managing by the numbers. So it's just going to be more numbers. So it's going to be a whole week of numbers.
Yeah. So especially if for you or anybody else who wants to really understand the numbers, but then also maybe has a hard time getting everybody on board with those numbers and getting, managing your technicians by their numbers and things like that, and making like a culture around your numbers in a way that's positive and doesn't feel micromanagey, that type of thing. That's where that event really comes in to kind of piece those two pieces together of, okay, we get the numbers and we know kind of the activities that need to happen to make these numbers better, but how do I get everybody else on board with this? How do I get my whole team moving these numbers in the way that I want them to go? So Liz is very great at helping piece everything together, making a whole picture.
Yeah.
Execution.
Yeah.
Yep.
Good times.
The ISSA shows November 19, 2021. Actually, I guess education starts 17th, but the 21st is a Thursday, and the following Thursday is Thanksgiving. So it is
Okay, so it's the week before. Okay, cool.
Kind of close. Got one more event we're going to plug, and we'll kind of leave it at that. We're doing our one-day AI event in Detroit in August 14th. And Liz is doing an event out there. This is Lisa's office. Where is this? Rochester is where it actually is.
Mm-hmm.
So she's going to nurture client. We're doing our AI workshop in front of that.
That was so awesome. I am still feeling FOMO about the AI workshop. So anybody who's even mildly interested, the more that I hear about it, the more I'm like, that sounds fantastic. So, and I think Lisa went to the one in June and was like, yes, I want to do that again. Let's bring it up to Rochester. So definitely even something that somebody who's already gone to it once is ready to bring up to their office and do it again and bring as many people as they can get to it to see it. So another really good place to get some really cool tips and tricks around AI for our industry that I think is another weird little piece that we're not sure how to make the most of in all of our little bits and pieces around marketing and communications and even just digital creation. There's a lot of cool things that it can help with.
Yeah, we did that for the first time last week. Alvin took the lead on that and did a really good job. And we didn't even know we were going to do it again, but the response was so strong. It's like we had to do it again. And Lisa was there and she says, come to my place and do it that week. I said, okay, sure. So
yeah,
who knows?
I'm with you, Asha. I have a FOMO.
I have so much FOMO.
Yes.
Yep. Like the first event I haven't gone to that was MaidCentral, in the last 2 years. And I'm like, dang it.
Well, Angie, if you want to come, just, we go through this thing. It's like, okay, do we want to do this? It's like, oh, gee, I don't know. Because we travel a fair amount. I mean, not a crazy amount, but, when we get close to it, though, it's like, oh, gee, I'm not going to that.
Man, that sounds really exciting now. So we, you came to the live event in April. So, now that you have a couple of months under you, getting used to MaidCentral, kind of getting some of the education at the live event, what are you working on, or what are some of the key data points that you're really loving that you're getting out of MaidCentral that maybe you weren't able to get in the past?
Oh gosh, do I have to count one or two?
No.
Oh my gosh. I love the campaigns. We are working on our automatic campaign for the internal leads.
Awesome.
Yeah, the campaigns there, nurturing our leads, the scorecards, how we can improve better. The customers are loving the scorecards. Yeah, the I just went blank. What's the bottom? Cut off the bottom. Cut off the bottom. Yes. Yeah. Cut off the bottom. That's awesome. Where we can see, who's not paying enough and bring them up to that level where they should be paying.
Yeah, I'll explain for anybody who's watching who doesn't know what that is. We talked about it a little bit in one of our recent webinars as well. So the rate increase webinar, which was our June webinar, we also talked about the cut off the bottom exercise. So if you're more interested in that, you can look at our past events on our website and see the recording for the June core KPI webinar. But the cut off the bottom exercise is where we arrange out all of the services over a period of time and their average hourly rates. and find the absolute average of those and say, okay, well, what would happen if we brought all of these customers below the average up to this average? How would that change our profit? Essentially, if you already are making a 10% profit and you move everybody up to one point, in our example, it usually brings it up where your hourly rate, your average hourly gets an additional, like, it almost doubles the profit margin.
You're
pretty
doubling
much.
your profit. You're doubling your
Yeah.
profit without cleaning any more homes. And you don't see it when you just look at the average. The average looks good. You think you're doing great, but you miss all the ones that are underpriced. If you fix those, you make a lot more money.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like you did a lot if you move your average from, $58 to $63 an hour, but that's all pure profit. You haven't changed anything else. And if you are already making some profit off of that, everything on top of that is just an additional amount directly on top. So that's an exercise that we do at our live events. And it's another one that we just kind of recommend just to put a value on that effort of raising prices and stuff like that. And then, MaidCentral makes it so easy with the price increase tool. It's like, well, why not? Why not?
Right. Why not? Yes. And if any of my clients are listening,
Yeah.
the reason we want to raise those that are under that line is because we want to keep our employees happy, and we want to keep that turnover down, especially in the cleaning industry. It's a high turnover industry, but I am so blessed with the technicians I have, and that's because we pay them well, and I've got the tools with MaidCentral to help me keep that in check.
Yeah.
That's a good point, Angie. When we say profit, what we really are talking about is gross profit. And you do a lot of things with that. Without generating an adequate amount of gross profit, your jobs aren't very good. Hence, you're not able to provide very good service, and your business isn't very good. It's just the whole thing doesn't work very well. So you really, it's the whole thing. You want to be reassuringly expensive as opposed to conspicuously cheap. Expensive maybe is pushing it, but if you're trying to be the low cost provider in a service business, in a home service business, you really aren't the type of business that most consumers want to do business with.
Right.
Yeah. And I think it's just like, I say this often, but profit is not a bad word. And I think that that's something that I have to say often to people is just, I'll bring that up and I immediately see the withdrawal of like, oh, I don't want to talk. We don't, that's not our priority here. And I'm like, that's not a bad word. And it's what we're able to put back into our business to keep things growing and to keep things going. And it's what we can put back into our technicians. It's what allows us to give benefits. It's what, allows us to just level up our businesses, is profit. It's not the P word. And somebody said that to me recently, called it the P word. And I was like, no. We're not censoring profit around here. That is not a bad word.
No, it's not.
Think about it. Does anybody want to work for a company that's not profitable?
No.
It's not going to be around. There's no job security in that.
Zero. That's scary. So that MaidCentral gives me those tools that I didn't know I was missing. And so that's why I didn't want to leave that cubicle that day with Troy and then Tom sitting there tapping his foot. Okay, they're going to close the door.
Turn the lights out now. We're going to go.
Tom's ready to get a dark.
Yeah. But MaidCentral gives me all those tools that I can run a profitable business, and I can make happy employees, in turn make happy customers.
So speaking of happy employees, one of the data points that I did grab from you. So typically on our partner profiles, we'll talk about changes that people have seen in the last year and what activities maybe they've done. Since you have only been live for 5 months.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. End of January. So right about that. Yeah. I didn't want to focus too much on the changes of anything, because not a whole lot had changed. But what I really wanted to show was some of the things that you've done you were already doing well, probably, and maybe talking about how MaidCentral is going to aid some of those efforts or make those things easier, right? Because I'm guessing some of these things that you've been doing well on took a lot of effort in the past, probably, to keep going. So
Right.
one of the big ones that you have that is a good one is your technician turnover is pretty low. We've got a sub 100%, which is kind of our set average. So you're at the 72%, which is very good. For your technician turnover, I know you mentioned some challenges early on in the business, right? That everybody kind of has to go through those growing pains of learning how to really hire and manage people. But what are some ways that you've been using MaidCentral to kind of help with that in the last 4 months, or maybe that you see in the next couple of months?
Yeah, that's a great question because we pay allowed hours percentage split. So before MaidCentral, they didn't know what those allowed hours were. It was just, okay, you're scheduled from 8:30 to 12:30, but what are the allowed hours? It may be a 3-hour is the allowed hours, but on the schedule, I couldn't, or with that other program, I couldn't tell them what the allowed hours were unless I sent them my formula data-driven worksheet every week. And then they were like, no, that's too much.
You're like, you just made this really confusing and now I don't understand what life is.
Right, because it had V lookup and what and if and or, it's just, but
yeah.
You're speaking Aja's language.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, I know it all. I know what's happening.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't have to do that anymore. So they know what their allowed hours is. And then they get nervous. Well, I'm not going to finish by 11:30. Okay, well, that's fine. What time are you going to finish by? Oh, 11:45. Oh, that's not a problem. They're concerned now. They're concerned about the profit and about their pay. So
like a lot more transparency. That's great.
Yeah. Yeah. So the allowed hours was big, and they can see once I close payroll for the week, they can see what they made and who tipped them. That's big. That's huge.
Do you encourage them to thank that customer the next time they see them for their tips?
Yes.
Because I love that.
Yeah. And we have, I don't have it in front of me, but we have, I had postcards made up, or not postcards, note cards made up, Canva. And it says a note from Cleangie and the back is blank. And so I gave them a stack each, and they were like, I love this. I can fill this out and say thank you and just leave them a little note, on my way out the door. And so
leave behinds are my favorite. And I'm always home when my house gets clean because I work here. And I had to tell the company that helps me out. And I was just like, tell them to give me a leave behind, even though I'm here. It's literally my favorite thing. I don't care if it's the shortest little note. I love that little extra personal little connection of a leave behind. It's just my favorite.
Yeah. All right. So Cleangie technicians, did you hear that?
Yeah. Leave the notes no matter what.
We had a meeting earlier today. We were talking about the new bill that's going to be coming out next week, and maybe we can chat about that a little bit because that's going to help with tips too. But the idea of helping our partners develop a leave behind to talk about one of the new features, and most of the people on the call were like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, that term.
Yeah.
So but yeah, we are releasing I think you got to see the preview of it at the live event, but the customer portal is coming out. We've got some facelifts coming up on that one. So one of the big things is on our scorecards as well are getting a facelift for that. So getting more
facelift
tips.
It's reconstructive surgery. It is it's
true.
It's awesome. It's really different.
It is awesome. I got a preview. It's awesome. I can't wait.
Yeah, so that will be getting launched out next week, I think, and it looks great. And just a way easier, just more methods for people to tip and get that to more connection with their technicians, leaving scorecards, all of that stuff. So hopefully that'll help with that transparency even more. You
Yeah.
know,
Yep. Absolutely.
really bringing it in. One of your other stats that I actually thought was really interesting, considering you were talking about your technicians being more worried about their times in home, even that 15 minutes was your productivity, which isn't one of our core KPIs. And I actually haven't brought this up in a partner profile before, because we usually don't look at the productivity or efficiency numbers too much. But your productivity is 105%, which is like perfect, in the fact that it's just above 100, but not so high above 100 that it makes me worry, right?
Yep.
Like our goal is to be as close to 100 as we can, but even just like a little slightly above it, because we do like to be a little under time just to keep things running smoothly. That we all know that
Right.
helps. If we just are slightly under time, it makes everything run just that much more smoothly.
And psychologically, it's kind of, you're below, you think something's wrong with
Right.
you, and you're, you know.
Yeah, so that 105 is actually really great, because that's kind of my ideal number. If I'm looking at a company's productivity and they're asking me, is this good or bad? I'm really looking at for something between that 103 and 105 mark is kind of right where I like to see it. So I know you probably didn't have a way of measuring that before, but do you think that some of these numbers or some of the ways that you're able to communicate about MaidCentral is helping that?
Yes. Yeah. And I tell the technicians, you don't, I'm okay if we tell you it's an allowed hour, 4 hours, and you do it in 3.5. I'm okay with that, but I better not get a scorecard with a 0, and it's not that I better not get a scorecard. You better not
You
get
better not.
Yes. But you're taking care of, that's your client. They need you. I need you. Y'all don't need me, except
Yeah.
for once a week on Friday. But so yes. So I tell them, it's okay if you take a little longer. It's okay if you go faster, but just be sure that you don't get the complaints to go with that.
That's the mentality that I love. It's like the idea that, our job as operators is to take care of the technicians. They're our priority, and then
Yes.
their priority can be the customers. And,
Yes.
sometimes they can clean faster, sometimes they need to clean a little slower, but their priority is that quality for the customer. And, we're, as long as we take care of them, they take care of the customers, and it works
Right.
great. And if that gap happens, then we'll step in and help the customer too. But that's not usually the operator's priority. It's usually that technician, and making sure that they're really well supported and have the right tools and all of that good stuff to give those customers the service that they're looking for. So yeah, no, that's the best way to look at it. It's like, we do, there's variations in this work. There's never a perfect. If somebody finishes a house perfectly on time, they're doing something weird.
Right.
And, and in that spirit, just the design and best practices in MaidCentral, we try to push as much responsibility as we can to the lowest levels in the organization, which means your technicians and also your customers. We try to empower both of those stakeholders to do as much as they can to manage the process without having to pick up the phone and call your office. Did your cleaning technicians, your cleaning professionals notice a difference in how things worked when you moved over to MaidCentral?
Yes, absolutely. Because MaidCentral is made for the cleaning industry, and so transparent, that they noticed, and that's why they were concerned about the time difference in their allowed hours.
Mm-hmm.
Were they able to see, any kind of metrics for themselves previously
No,
built into the system?
no, not at all.
And you can tell that you've been doing a good job with your technicians. I always say, like, if your technicians aren't bringing it up, they're not caring.
Right.
if they're not bringing up these stats and asking what is this and what should it be,
Yeah.
they're not caring enough.
Right.
You got to work on that attitude a bit.
Right. And I've got one that's like, man, I don't care if it's a 4-hour house. I'm going to take 5 hours. I'm going to, help this customer out. And then I've got one that's like, I'm so competitive.
And they both probably have customers that absolutely adore them for it.
Yes. Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah. We do. We've got the best customer base, I tell you.
That's awesome. I guess this one's kind of related. We've got another one that's related to your technicians. Was your absentee rate is really low, a 4.59%. Has that been historically true for you, or is that something that's adjusted recently?
No, that is something that they are mindful of themselves. I mean, they are amazing, and I tell them, just like if you were to work for one of the big grocery stores and you were a cashier and you didn't call in, you didn't work that day. Well, you're not going to earn anything that day. So it's the same with us. You're not going to earn that day. Well, they can see their absences. They can request time off. And they love that about the ease, how easy that is with MaidCentral. And they can see we pay, we reward 40 hours every year of employment. And so they can utilize their PTO or just a time off day, and it's unpaid. And so they love that through MaidCentral.
Yeah, and it's all super clear. It shows them all of their time off, like broken up between what type of time it was. I think that is something I haven't had to think about this in so long. And the transparency of just like knowing where you stand as a technician is huge, right? Like, how am I doing? Am I doing well? Is the work that I'm doing helping people, or am I actually, providing a difference to the company that I'm working for, the people that I'm providing a service for? Like, this is a customer service job. It is a different type of customer service job, but it still very much is. And, when the people that we hire, the ones that are good at this type of work, really need that kind of constant positive feedback.
And if you think about it, we're so busy doing all the other things and running our business that providing feedback to your cleaning professionals a lot of times just doesn't happen, slips through the cracks.
Right.
But
we're quick to say you forgot a bedroom, but we're not so quick to say, you were on time all week, or and that's where I love that MaidCentral is there to help me do that.
Yeah. Where they can get, 90% of their feedback is positive.
Yeah.
Right. Like, where, if they're getting feedback, it's usually of the positive kind. And if they do need a critical feedback, it's also able to come through in the same streamlined method. I think that, there's no other job that I know of where you get 90% positive feedback,
right.
Like all the time. Like, I've never had another job where I got that much constant stream of positive feedback. Like, that just doesn't happen.
No.
People are out there fighting for you to give us a survey score back. Taco Bell wants a survey score.
Yes.
You go shopping at Costco, they want a survey score. I don't know if Costco does. I don't go to Costco, but the clothing store that I go to always wants a survey. And I almost never give those ones back. I try to, because I know that they're meaningful, but I have such a hard time for it. But in this industry, it's a little more common to really get that positive feedback back, and having that right in front of your face and at your fingertips all the time. I think that's such a great motivator for our technicians. And if you don't come to work, you don't get that positive motivation, that little serotonin dip of 4-star responses. You'll miss out on that if you don't go to work.
Yeah. And I tell the technicians that we love feedback, even if it's what they consider negative. It's helping us to help the client more or help
Mm-hmm.
help them better. And so whenever our technicians get discouraged, I let them know, look, even I failed as a technician when I first started out. I learned, I missed spots, and that's how we learn, right?
Mhm.
So we need the feedback. We want that.
Yeah.
We don't want silent quitters.
No.
Yeah. And, another, I guess, best practice from a MaidCentral perspective is continuous improvement. And a lot of times we get hung up on what's the score, what's the number, and the number is what the number is. The question is, what can we do to make it better?
Yeah.
And
What can we do to make it the best?
Right.
if we
Right.
can get if we can get a little bit better every day, we're going to be awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
I
Exactly.
used to use this phrase a lot in training new people was, I don't believe anybody purposely leaves a job unfinished, right? Like
Right.
nobody walks out of a house and is like, I didn't clean that living room. Like nobody does that. Nobody just like purposely misses something major. And so feedback is a gift and letting us know what we missed, because we all leave a job thinking that we completed it to the best of our ability. Like that is, none of us are living in that malicious intent of purposely missing things. And so that's where that feedback being a gift really comes in, is that we walked out of that house feeling really good about ourselves, feeling like we did a really good job. And without that gift of feedback, we wouldn't know what we were missing. And that kind of helps a lot in that mindset.
That's true unless your scheduling isn't very good and you're not giving the team enough, time, or, they're running out of day. They got to pick their kid up from daycare or whatever, maybe. But if you're using MaidCentral, you're going to be scheduling more accurately. You're not going to have that problem.
True. Even then, they're probably still not walking out feeling proud that they didn't clean that living room.
Maybe they left knowing they didn't because they had to be somewhere else.
True. Very true. Haven't run into that one in a while, but that's, feedback being a really big gift, and having it being so built in with MaidCentral, I think, is one of the things that I've always really enjoyed, that you don't have to pay attention to it. It just happens in the background.
Right. And whenever they receive a 4-star, or in MaidCentral a 3, they're like, oh, I didn't get a 5-star,
Yeah.
Not everybody gives 5 stars. You are doing very well if you got a 4-star in their mind, in the customer's mind. So be proud of that 4-star.
And use it as a communication point. I think that's the other extra piece, is that MaidCentral also shows you every scorecard that customer has ever given.
Yes.
So you could see that, hey, this last time they only gave a 3. Hey, we noticed that your last clean with your new leave behinds, right? Hey, we noticed that your last clean that you just gave a 3. Do you have any tips for us to push that up to the next level up? That means a lot to us. Like, just being able to point that out and like close that communication loop through the technician. Again, that pushing the responsibility down to the technicians a little bit, is that they can see the last scorecard, whether it was for them or not, that, hey, I saw that you gave a 3 last time. What can we do to boost that up to the top score? What did we miss? Is there anything that we could do, whether it's in the leave behind or talking to them? That's, again, that transparency of just like giving that autonomy, I find so much power in.
Right.
Cool. I think the last stat that I had that I'm very impressed with, and we kind of talked about this a little bit before we started, is your close rate. You are in the first quartile for your close rate, and we are only looking at recurring services close rate. So this isn't taking into account one-time services or anything like that. This is recurring services closed sales. And that's at a 42% quotes to sale for recurring services, which is really good. Just getting that recurring services quote to sale is nice. Do you do a lot of one-time services, or are you primarily recurring services?
We are primarily recurring services, but if I'm in the first quartile, like I mentioned before we started, that means I need to go higher.
I love that you know that.
Yeah. And see, I didn't know that with my last unless I downloaded the data and I put it in a spreadsheet and applied all the formulas and da 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 da. And
The VLOOKUP and
yes, yes. And MaidCentral has it right there for me.
Yeah.
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 So,
And you can look at it all the time. So when are you going to raise your rates? When are you going to do it? You going to do it right now?
exactly.
it's pretty easy.
Yes, it is very easy.
Have you done a rate increase yet?
I have in
rate
MaidCentral. Yes, actually, I was in the middle of a rate increase when I migrated, and so I had this elaborate spreadsheet, of course, and so when we went to MaidCentral, I pulled up the report and looked at it and compared and like, oh my gosh, it matches. It matches. So
that's crazy.
Yes, I did. I had 33 customers that I raised rates, and we lost 2. So that's not bad.
That's not bad at all.
But I still need to raise rates.
Yeah, get those new incoming customers up a little bit too. That's the way to go.
Yeah.
And you said you thought you were a little pricey for your area too?
I am pricey for my area. They tell me I'm pricey.
Don't confuse what customers want to pay with what they're willing to pay.
Exactly. And I don't.
So, clearly.
Yeah.
I love that that's your first response to that. You see that and you're like, I need to raise my rates. Like, I mean, that's perfect. That's honestly, that's what we want to hear from people. That's what we want to really see in our MaidCentral community, is understanding what these numbers are meaning. It's great to have a really high close rate, but if there's some other piece that you can adjust because of what that close rate is telling you to get different outcomes or better outcomes as well, like that's what we're really working towards in all of the education that we do at MaidCentral, is just helping understand how these things all work together. Is like, okay, our close rate is 42%, but our bill rate's too low. Like those are 2 things that might be communicating. I don't remember what your bill rate quartile was. It wasn't in the second or the first, otherwise we would be talking about it right now. So it could be exactly what we're talking about, is understanding how those 2 things work together. I love it.
And you can use the forecasting tool in the toolbox to do some calculations in terms of, there's a tool in here, you can do a rate increase and you can estimate how much recurring business you might lose because of that. And it'll still give you the additional gross profit. And almost in all cases, you might wind up losing a couple of homes, but you're still generating more gross profit. Or throw it in the forecasting tool, and you can see how much more growth and how much profit you're going to get in the months and years ahead by doing a rate increase, even if your close rate goes down a little bit, if the ratios are right. And this helps you see that and dial it in.
Yes.
We haven't talked about Toolbox in a while, have we?
No,
not today, at least.
Toolbox.maidcentral.com. It's free. You can sign up.
Yeah.
Plug in your KPIs.
And that's another thing with MaidCentral. I just love that y'all share the knowledge and have these tools for anybody who wants to use them. And that is just, sharing is caring.
Yeah, I know I have just like a big passion for this industry in general. I know Tom does as well. And I think it just like extends down through our team of really understanding that there's a lot of things that you could learn on your own, but it takes so much time, and also finding those like trends and understanding how they're all working together while also living in the whirlwind of a cleaning business is hard. That's a lot. That's a lot to try to take together. So we really love being able to help people simplify that just a little bit. And why not? Yeah. We're more successful for it. The whole industry is.
Yes.
There's a lot of people that work in this industry, from the cleaning professionals to the people who have the courage and take the risk to start a business, who work really, really hard and too many times don't have enough to show for it. And a lot of times the answer is just tweaking a number here or tweaking a number there. But if you don't know that. If you don't know what those numbers are, you can't do it. And I mean, that's really, I guess, at the heart of what we're trying to do here. And, it's a win-win-win for everybody. It's a win for us too, because the more successful cleaning, companies are, the more successful we are.
Mhm.
Right. Agree. That's what I
And
love about you guys.
It's one thing to find the number, but then it's like the next step of like, okay, well, is this number good? Is it bad? And what results could I get if I make this number better? Like you could be looking at your 42% close rate and being like, man, I really wish that was 50. And
Right.
thinking, I really would need to raise that up. I need to get that higher. And then, we can tell you like, oh, actually that's actually pretty high in relationship to other, in the industry. Like I wouldn't put too much effort into raising that number right now. Let's go look at your bill rate.
Right.
Let's increase that a little bit and see how that affects your close rate, if that makes it drop, or maybe it makes it higher even. It's like, I think that's the thing. It's just like, you might be able to take the time, pull the spreadsheet, make the formulas, get the number, and then you just sit there like the Finding Nemo fish in the ocean in their bags,
Yeah.
waiting at the end of the movie, just going, now what? Because that's what I imagine all the time. Every time that I just like imagine somebody trying to get all of these numbers together, it's just they do all of this work, they get it all together, and then it's just the end of Finding Nemo. They finally escaped, but they're in their little baggies and they're just sitting floating in the ocean. Now what?
Yeah.
Like,
Exactly.
we want to get you out of the baggies and swimming free.
Exactly. Yep. And make it so so clear, the red light, green light theory, or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, red numbers go down, green numbers go up. Like, you want more of the good things, less of the bad ones. They're not necessarily good or bad, but we want more of these ones, less of these ones. Try to simplify it, but Toolbox is great. That's built off of Tom's growth forecasting tool from, or at least some of the ones in there are just years and years of renditions and changes, and yeah, that's it. And it's just the blowfish over there, or I think Pearl or something, the starfish just turns over and goes, now what? And I just imagine this every time that somebody gets somewhere, and I can tell they did a whole lot of work, and it's just like this mental image just pops up of them just sitting in the ocean in their little baggies.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
So don't be a Nemo fish.
Yes.
Use Toolbox.
Yes. Yeah.
Figure out, it tells you what to work on next, or which one's going to get you the most bang for your buck. So I know you came to the live event in April, and we kind of, did you have to leave early?
No.
Okay. You got to stay through the whole action plan. Do you know which KPIs you've been working on?
Not yet.
Okay. So, I was going to put you on the total spot, but it's fine. No worries. So what I challenge anybody to do, watching this now or later, is to go into Toolbox and pick 2 KPIs to try and improve by 10 to 15% in the next 3 months. We are at the end of a quarter, right?
Almost a couple weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're coming up at the end of a quarter. So this is like planning period time. So like take a hold of planning period time right now. This next 2 weeks is what I call planning period. I used to call it when I was in a cleaning business, was planning period time. So pick your next couple of KPIs for the next quarter.
Back when you had a real job?
Back when I had a real job. I don't know. My girlfriend was like, somebody asked me what you do for work, and I was like, she does meetings and she works from home. I was like, that's you weren't wrong. Yeah, perfect. There you go. I want you to finish filling that out. That's what I want you to do. I want you to finish filling that out and make that your third quarter plan and plug that back into the core KPIs. I can give you updated KPIs if you need it, since I have them, since we just did our partner profile for you. But Asha's job is very real.
Very real.
Thanks, Victoria.
It is
I think
indeed.
it is too.
It
It's
is
just
very-
funny.
Yes, very real. Yeah.
But yeah,
So
go
this
through and
is in
come up
front
with
of
that
me.
plan.
Yes, this is in front of me to do. And it would not have, it didn't happen in 7 years, that I was with the other guys. And so
Mhm.
I'm just so grateful. Yeah. Now, if MaidCentral could do one thing, please.
I know where you're going. I'm ready
No,
for it.
you don't. No, you don't, because I'm not going to bring
Oh,
that one up.
oh, okay, go.
Could you just add some more time to my day?
Well, are we saving you some time that you would otherwise be spending on stuff that you don't have to spend as much time on anymore?
I mean, I know she got payroll done real quick recently, so I know that's been saving some time.
Oh my gosh, payroll. Can we continue this? Yes. That is amazing. That is so fast. Now, I did my spreadsheet and my formulas and VLOOKUP and I compared it to my MaidCentral payroll report and it was spot on.
Oh, love it.
So, yes.
Yeah.
Payroll is amazing.
Yeah. Well, that's what we're there for. If I can find a way to get more hours in your day, the only thing I can give you is the tool that I use to help me feel like I have more hours in my day, and that is a program I use called AccuFlow, and it's just a task management tool, but it helps. It syncs with my calendar, and it's a free one, so that's all I use, and that's what I use, and it makes me feel like I have more hours in my day. I don't know if it actually works, but it helps my ADHD brain feel like I have more hours in the day, so therefore it is helping me time travel.
And the calls every week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, those are amazing. I learned so much on those too. Even like you just shared, the app that helps you save more time that MaidCentral has already saved. And I've learned so much from that too.
We love to share all the things, honestly. Anything that we can do to help, any extra tools, AI tools, task management tools.
Yeah.
We're all the tool. I'll put that in here. AccuFlow. I just posted that to everywhere, not just Facebook. Sorry.
But if you think about like the AI workshop we did last week, basically we shared a long list of tools that had not a lot to do with MaidCentral. It's just stuff that will help cleaning businesses be more successful, and
Yes.
that's a win for all of us.
Yes, absolutely. So yes, as soon as I stop onboarding new people,
and if you're able to make a copy of that or duplicate that in some way, you can do that each quarter, right? That can just become like a little quarterly planning tool or every 6-month planning tool that you go through. You plug your KPIs into Toolbox and you pick your next 3 KPIs, and then you just throw out all the ideas of things that you can do to improve those KPIs, and that's it. That's your to-do list for the next 3 months, and you can just start checking things off. You can throw those into AccuFlow or into whatever task management tool you want to use, and just start checking things off and seeing movement. Like, that's the thing that I love getting to see, is just seeing the movement, seeing people get that improvement. I love that you are actually able to not only get those numbers, but be able to actually work on those numbers. Like, I think that kind of growth is just, priceless, right? Like, I feel like a MasterCard commercial right now, but it's just a little priceless moment.
It is. Yeah. You're right. Yeah.
Yeah. So I did throw in the event calendar in there as well for anybody for those live office hour calls. If you are a MaidCentral user, highly recommend coming to those. We call them partner success calls now, but they are still just the office hours. We do have office hours with implementation and support team members come to those now. So, and those are 4 days a week. So definitely come to those. Angie's in there often. Highly recommend joining because you can learn a ton. And then I think Tom's got some upcoming events as well.
I'm efforting. We've got a core KPI webinar. What, next Wednesday? Or is it
2 Wednesdays.
2 Wednesdays from now.
Yep, July 3rd, right before everybody heads off for an extra long weekend, I'm assuming. July 3rd, we've got our next core KPI, and I had it remembered right before this call started, and now it's gone, which one it was.
It's going to be cool, though.
I know it's one of the numbers going down.
We're on the down numbers, aren't we?
It's the first down number.
Is it payroll to revenue?
I think it might be.
And that's a big one.
That is a big one. It's a fun one. That's a big one, though. But yeah, that is going to be then as well. But come to those support team hours.
Yes, Victoria's support team is amazing.
Okay. Tomorrow, Liz and I are doing smart business moves, and David Loria, who's got a really cool business, he's a MaidCentral partner, is going to be our guest. And he's going to be inviting Franklin Tibbetts, who I've never met, but he's like a Six Sigma black belt, manufacturing type person, and David worked with him to bring those concepts to his cleaning business, and it's going to be cool. So if you're not doing anything tomorrow, I'm sorry.
I have a green belt. I came from manufacturing.
Oh, cool. Okay. Well,
yeah.
This guy is the real deal, and he helped David develop some of these concepts in his house clean business. That's what we're going to be talking about tomorrow at 5 o'clock Eastern.
Yep.
Awesome.
I love those two.
Smart business moves.
We are past the top of the hour. How did that happen?
We did it. I don't know. That
It's
one.
me.
Yeah, it
Thank
is.
you, Angie.
Angie, we appreciate you.
So much we do. You're awesome.
I love y'all.
Yeah, we love working with you. It's been so great from the absolutely beginning, and yes, we talk about working with you in the best way possible often because you are such a joy to work with. So keep it coming. Keep giving us coming to the calls. You have great questions. I think you help a lot of people too that don't know how to ask their questions too. So thank you for doing this profile with us. And I'm sure we'll see you tomorrow or the next day at one of our next calls anyways.
Absolutely.
And we'll be back, I guess, in 2 weeks doing this again.
We will.
Okay.
We will.
So then everybody take care and have a good rest of your day. Thank you again, Angie.
Bye. Thank you.